You're recording this?
Yes.
Very good.
Hello, hello. I told you guys I was going to be back at 1 o'clock. We are just a couple of minutes early. Wanted to give everybody time to sign on here a little bit and kind of say hello, what state you're in, all that fun stuff. But I want you to get excited about what you're going to hear. We're going to have a very short presentation for you because I have a lot of you guys writing me, asking me, what is this MoneyMax thing? What does it do? How does it work? So we're going to get some questions answered for you today, and I am really excited to do that. So when we get some people on here, there you go. Okay, so I was making sure everybody can see me. I'm going to be pasting my contact. So in the chat, while we're having this conversation about the Money Max, if you guys, you're going to get an opportunity to reach out to me so that you can get more information about what the Money Max is. You guys are writing me about this every day. I just actually got off of an appointment with a lady who already had the Money Max and she wasn't even aware of how to use it. So now we're working with her. But I want you guys to know that if you are in any kind of debt, this could be your answer. So we've got people on here saying that they already have the Money Max. They've been using it for 6 months and love it. Beautiful. We've got one saying my husband and I have our Money Max training today. Beautiful. So the thing is that you want to be trained, coached. You want to understand how to use the Money Max, unlike the lady I just worked with, because she's been sitting with that program for 4 years, and she's never used it. So I hate to hear that because you know what? It will beat a line of credit every day. It just will. It's a beautiful system. It's an interest eliminator, and it is super easy to use. So I wanted to bring on Bill Blanchard today. He is with my MoneyMax team, and he's going to come on here and give you a really short presentation so that you can see what this MoneyMax looks like. If you were going to use it, he's going to show you what that looks like. Bill, welcome. Thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thanks for having me, Christy. And yes, this will be a very short presentation. Here we go. Ready? Get it? It's good. It works. Thank you very much. Was that
Awesome.
short enough?
That was short enough. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this Money Max. Explain something here. Is this a software? Is this what the people are buying? So tell us kind of just, in the general, because people always say to me, is this a software? What's your answer to that?
Absolutely. It is the unique thing about the software is that you're just logging into a from any computer anywhere, just you're logging into it, much like online banking. So when you log into your bank account, that is your account. So with
Right.
MoneyMax, much the same way. You don't have to download anything. There's no requirements. You just log in. And when you invest in the MoneyMax and open up your account, you get login credentials. You create your own username, your own password, and that is unique to you. And then so every time you log in, you're just logging right into your MoneyMax dashboard, what we call the dashboard.
See, that's super easy. And the just to let everybody know, I don't like software. I don't use it. Very limited knowledge of how to use it. But the Money Max, I have 20-year-olds working in it and I have 80-year-olds working in it. So it's very user friendly. So that's kind of what you're going to show us today.
Exactly, and that's true. But you said something interesting. You say, I don't like software. I don't use software. Yes, you do.
Well, I
It's
don't
right
feel like
here.
I do.
Right. That's because in our mindset, if you're, past 25 years old, back in the olden days, in the black and white TV. No, I'm just kidding. Not that far. But, just 10 years ago, the whole concept was, yeah, you had to go buy something and download something and put it onto your computer. And when we came out with this back in '06, yeah, no. Well, the first version was '04, so that was what, 21 years ago. It's always been a web-based portal, which I think put us ahead of the pack because there's so much technical difficulties when you have a program, you go to Best Buy, you buy something in a box, you take it home and you load it and something glitches out, and then what? Well, call tech support. Yeah, good luck with that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So we're cut from a different cloth, and we always have been from the very beginning. So super simple to use, nothing to download. It's you just log in, just like online banking.
Okay, so that does make it simple. And I do online banking every day. Okay, so I do enjoy the online banking. So that makes sense. That kind of
Hmm.
gives people an idea of what you're doing here. So why don't you kind of run through a little presentation for us and kind of show us what this system looks like.
Sure. This is basically, Christy, the same presentation that when working with your referrals, your people that come to us and say, "Hey, what is this Money Max? What is it all about? Why is Christy so excited about it?" This is exactly what we talk about. And the starting point is MoneyMax account, your financial GPS. Okay, so hold on to that financial GPS. And as we like to say, every great story has a great beginning, and ours is no different. Our story started with these two yahoos these two gentlemen out of Utah, Skylar and John. And what's unique about them was they were lifelong buddies since elementary school, went through high school, college together, graduated in '97. They opened up a mortgage company. And the reason that's important to know is because in any industry, if you're going to learn about that industry, you've got to jump into it. So when you're going to learn about debt, wow, being in the mortgage business is the place to be because you have to learn about mortgages, HELOCs, first position, second position, PLOCs, credit card debt, car loans, student loans, all of that stuff. How do you become an expert at it? By being in the mortgage business. That's the whole point. Early 2000s, they became aware that debt epidemic. People had this nasty habit of using their homes as an ATM. They would compile, a lot of personal debt, pull out the equity, pay it down. Bravo, nice job. But then they did it again and again. And the story that Skylar recounts is a gentleman that came back to him, I think, 4 times in 3 years. The
Wow.
problem is the home's equity didn't grow as his debt did. And every time he refinanced to pay it down, his mortgage got bigger, and then he'd get the debt, pay it down, get the debt, pay it down, and then he ended up with big old mortgage and lots of debt. That's a recipe for financial disaster. And he ended up having to go into foreclosure. And they said, nope, not acceptable. Why? Because they both went through it as young teenagers. So they set about trying to find something. And the short story is 2004, we came out with what's now the first version of the MoneyMax account. This is something that John built from up here in his hundreds of spreadsheets, brought in IT guys, programmers, financial planners, and came out with the first version of the MoneyMax account. So that was nearly 20, 21 years ago. What have we been doing since then? You have to know that if you're going to go into business with somebody, or if you're going to, I think, invest with somebody, much like investing with Christy Vann and buying her expertise, you got to know the history. So our history is pretty powerful. In the last 20 plus years, we've helped our clients pay off $2.7 billion worth of debt. And if you added in the interest saved, that number would be 3 to 4 times as large. But to me, what's more exciting? $10 billion under debt right now that we're helping over 80,000 clients manage and pay off that debt. Are we good? Absolutely. A plus rating, better business, and at trustpilot.com, 4.9 stars out of 5. 4.9 out of 5. So we are true and it is good. And we have the history to prove it. So here's what, Christy, this is the question I used to ask is, okay, you're looking for something. What does it look like? Is it a spreadsheet? Is it a program? Is it a something or a widget that somebody sends you? And everybody said, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like. But there were some key things, Christy, that they knew that they wanted intuitively. And first and foremost, number one on the list was, hey, whatever it is, it's got to be easy to learn, simple to use, quick to update. Oh, yeah, and coaching support. When was the last time you had an issue with Google or Microsoft, just to name a few, and you had to call their tech support? Good luck with that, right? Not a good experience. With us, we have a full complement of coaches on the inside that are there to answer every question. My folks tell me they wanted something to track their spending so that they could see what's going on, but they didn't want a harsh budget. I agree with that. Nobody can live by a harsh budget. How do I know that? Because there's a certain educator out there, and God bless him for doing what he's been doing, but he talks about envelopes and avalanches and snowballs and stuff. And does it work? Yeah, I went to a training once where I heard, yeah, about 16% of the time.
Yeah.
That's great if you're in the 16%, but what about the 84%? It's that concept of a harsh budget. Making a huge change is hard for any of us. Any of us gone on a diet lately?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that all about? It's hard. Why? Because the promise isn't clear. So when we talk about finances and budgets, when the promise isn't clear, we don't take definitive steps towards that goal. Think
Right.
about that. Had a buddy in Georgia, client of ours. He says, Bill, that's my best Georgia impression. Bill, I wanted to automate my bacon thinking. And I said, what does bacon have to do with this? And he says, Bill, not bacon. I said, banking. Oh, you mean banking. I get it. What he was talking about is, you know how sometimes when you have that extra 50 bucks or 100 bucks and you have 15 different options, where do you go with it? Stops you in your tracks, creates brain fog and confusion. We eliminate that. We automate your banking thinking. And when you say that to your friend, I'm going to automate my banking thinking, you have to say it just like that, Christy. Banking thinking, okay?
Okay.
Everybody, let's practice together. No, I'm just kidding. Not yet. And the idea too is what we call financial forecasting. Want to be able to see the what if scenarios. Because oftentimes we make a decision based on incomplete information. Couple wants to buy a new car. One says 40,000, the other says 60,000. Is one right, one wrong? Not necessarily, but in the Money Max, you can now do a what if scenario and 40,000 does this, 60,000 does that. Which is better for you? Now you'll have the numbers available to see, oh, you want to buy an investment property? What does that look like? I just did one for a new client last week, showed them a what if scenario, and they bought the idea is buying a $200,000 rental property, and it pushed them back their payoff less than 2 years. They
Wow.
added $200,000 worth of debt, and it
Wow.
pushed them back less than 2 years. Now, not everybody's going to experience that. Everything is unique to you and your unique financial situation. But I was blown away by that because most of us don't think we can't see investing in real estate because, well, it's going to take me 30 years to pay off mine. I don't want another 30 years to pay off that. No, it doesn't have to be that
That's
at
exactly
all.
why I bought into the Money Max is I know how to use lines of credit. I know exactly, how to get rid of debt because I've done it with the line of credit. But when I learned about the Money Max, it's like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'm getting in that, that's just a tool in my sack so that if I take on one additional property or five, MoneyMax is going to eliminate most of that interest on those for me. So now I'm still using my lines of credit the way I do. I mean, I can't even think of anything any better or faster than that. So,
I agree with you. Last point is the value has to be overwhelming. It just does. You have to look at it and say, yeah, saving 5, 10, 15, even 20 years worth of payments. Yeah,
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. But it's not just about getting out of debt. It's about using this tool for effective cash flow management for the rest of your life.
Yep.
That's the whole point. So when we talk about the world's first financial GPS, if you qualify to use it, you're going to save time, you're going to save money, and yes, it automates your banking thinking. It does. Otherwise, this is what it looks like. What? What am I doing? You see, it's complicated to do it manually. No one has the time on their own to do it. No one has the systems. This is really complex to navigate all of these different things. There's no strategic payoff, and that is key, but we have the answers. And let me show you real quick what it looks like. Let's say, hypothetically, your debt looks like this. You had a credit card at 7%. Now, I know I want some of that too. Doesn't exist, but this is a hypothetical, right?
Yep.
Credit card, furniture, you've got a college debt, you've got a car loan, trailer, and yes, of course, a mortgage. Now, when you have a debt, a credit card at 30% and a car loan at 8, it's pretty easy to figure that out. But what if, number one, you have 6 debts? And you say, well, Bill, I'm going to do this on my own. There's 6 debts. I'll just make a list and figure it out, how to pay them off in order. With 6 items, 720 different ways to order those. Okay. If you went to 7, it's 5,040. You go to 8, it's 40,320 different ways to list those items. How would you know which one is the best? Here's the other part of it. Credit cards don't behave the same as car loans, that don't behave the same as mortgages. They're all different. How are you going to account for that? And lastly, look at those interest rates. They're all between 6 and 7% in different amounts. How would you know where to start? You can start, but how are you going to be most efficient and effective with every dollar of your budget? You see, that's why we believe that a math program is going to work best to make these decisions. So, Christy, if any of your people want to know what their guaranteed debt-free date is, that's kind of the next step that we take in this discussion, okay? But before we get there, let me just review 4 quick questions that I know that they probably have. Number one, can't I do this myself? And no, this is not my wife trying to dye her hair. That I didn't say that out loud. You just the deck is stacked against you. You can't figure it out. Put the power of 4.5 million lines of code incorporating 8 banking strategies and well, approaching what, 1,000 different math algorithms. Get that power to work for you. That's the whole point of the Money Max. How does it work? I'm not really sure, other than all of those all of those lines of code and the banking strategies. It's like, we all have a GPS in our phone. How does it work? I don't know. There's satellites up there and they talk somehow. I get that. But how does the Money Max? It's math. And at
Yeah.
about this time, you're thinking, I really like Miss Christie. I really trust her, but man, this sounds too good to be true. I get that. When I first saw this back in April of '07, 18 years ago, that's exactly what I said. This is definitely too good to be true. Being an independent financial advisor, I jumped in, learned it, bought it, invested in it for myself and my family, and come to know that, yeah, we are good and it is true. We talk about the investment, and it's kind of a one-time deal that is set up for each individual user. It's figured out based on where you're at. But in general, if you have a mortgage, the idea is, and we talked about worth, right? So the idea is that, hey, if we can get you paid off all of your debt, credit card, car loans, mortgages, student loans, everything, and save you 5 years, maybe even 10 years, is it worth the typical 2 or 3 mortgage payments to save 5, 10, or 15 years worth of payments?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's been one thing that I have certainly dealt with, and then I come to terms with that because just to give everybody a little bit of history here, when I had clients I could not work with because they did not I was not able to get a line of credit because their credit scores were so low. And they were in a negative cash flow. When I had that situation, I felt like I was going to have to turn people away, but I just had this pressing thought, and I was asking the Lord for wisdom, and I'm like, there has to be a better way than just using the line of credit. So I went out that day just looking for something. And I'm not even sure how I came upon MoneyMax, but I set up an appointment. I was in the next day. I got this overview basically of what the MoneyMax system is and what it does. And I told the guy I was talking to, I said, okay, so if you can take this client that I've got in a negative cash flow, he was, I think, about 600 in a negative. He was paid bi-weekly. He had a 627 credit score, and he could not get a line of credit at all. But he was drowning. He was drowning in almost over $300,000 in debt. Um, the representative that I spoke with took this client of mine into the MoneyMax appointment. And when he reached back out to me and told me, he said, we can help him. He's going to be out of debt in 8.7 years. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And he had 26 years left on his mortgage. He was in a negative cash flow. I thought
Yeah.
there's no way, you guys are going to be able to help him. But when I saw that, and now I have seen hundreds, this isn't just 5 or 10 people that I've seen go through this program. Hundreds are in it and they are excited about it. I'm
Mhm.
excited for them. But when we talk about fees, I haven't yet had somebody that bought into the Money Max that got their training, understands how it's going to work, knows they're going to save sometimes up to 2 decades on their payoffs.
Right.
I've never once had somebody come back to me and say, "Oh, that was so expensive. I wish I could just take that back and not do that." When you understand how the system works and what I show, I've run the amortization schedule before, and I've
Mhm.
shown people, okay, you're paying $1,000, $2,000 a month in interest only right now. What if I told you that for less than 3 months of interest that you're paying right now, you could have bought into the Money Max and you are literally cutting decades maybe off of your debt? That's when it clicks. It's like, wait a minute. So I'm going to be paying for the Money Max, but it's eliminating my interest from now on. So when you do literally apples to apples, I'm already throwing away, $2,000 a month in interest payments. And then Money Max is going to cost me the same as maybe 3 months of interest payments, depending on where you're at with your debt. Then there is no trade because Money Max keeps working and working and working for the rest of your life, whereas your interest was just sucking the life right out of you. There's no comparison there, Bill. And it's like, to
True.
me, to me, it it's you're not really paying for it because by the time it it counteracts or whatever on the interest that you're paying per month, you're not even going to feel that you paid for the Money Max. So, I want people to, calm their little spirits down and realize that if this were to cost $10,000, it would be worth it for what you're saving in interest and the years you're saving. But it is not. I think it's extremely cheap. And I've talked to John, one of the creators, about
Mhm.
this. I'm like, this is so cheap. How are you even able to do this? So the thing is that, people, if you're watching this right now and you're like, I don't want to go into debt to get out of debt. That doesn't make any sense. Uh, you're going to see after you get your free personal analysis run that you're not going into debt. You're going to start eliminating debt from about the first day, right, Bill? I mean, because after you get rolling here, you can see how much interest you're paying in a month, right? Or saving.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the whole point is that it sets you on course from day one to when we say that you'll be debt free by June of, 2034, that's guaranteed. That's the course that you're on. And that ties in, Christy, with this idea. because people ask all the time, Bill, is this easy to use? I mean, will it work for me? That's the number one question. Will it work for me? That's 100% the wrong question. You see, we have a 21-year history. We know that the system works. Here's the better question. Are you willing to commit to something different? Because follow me on this, if you will. You can't use the same level of thinking and doing that got us here to get us out of here. Would you agree with that, Miss Christie?
Yes, absolutely.
We have to do something different. So if you're willing to invest a little time and a little energy to learn a new way, and yes, on a weekly, monthly basis, maybe initially daily, invest a little time to update the numbers, the system is going to take over, and meaning it will show you the steps. Now remember, when you're using your GPS, who's driving the car?
Right.
You are.
Hmm.
With the MoneyMax account as a financial GPS, who's driving your money? You are. We don't touch your money. We don't want account numbers. We're not going to go in and move money for you. That's not the point. The point is to show you how, just like this does, turn by turn left, turn right, do a U-turn. That's it. That's as complicated as it gets. That's the same with us. Three easy commands that it's going to show you when and how much. And
Right.
that's it. So if you're willing to invest a little time and energy to learn something new and then to stay on top of it, that's how we can guarantee it. Because in essence, 2 + 2 still equals 4.
Right.
Now you're a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the whole idea. The Money Max gets right in the middle of it, parts the waters, and moves you straight forward towards that debt-free date. And when life happens, not if, when,
Yeah. When?
it's going to shift and move with you. So that ultimate point is that's what we're headed towards, is trying to get that idea of a personal savings report. Personal, why personal? Because it's about you and your unique financial situation. And
Mhm.
no, we don't want account numbers, social security numbers, dates of birth, none of that. Don't
Right.
need it, don't want it. But that's the whole point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's total sense. So when we're talking about this Money Max, you are going to get your questions answered on your individual numbers.
Mhm.
So, like, we're just showing you an overview right now. You are going to get an absolute guaranteed payoff date for your numbers,
Yes.
the way your numbers look, not the way mine looks, not the way Bill's look. It's about you, and they're going to specialize the program or set it up to where it is just for your numbers. Nobody else is going to see this. This is completely non-invasive, like he was saying.
Hmm.
But it's just like, let me give a couple of examples here of how this is working with my
Sure.
client. So I have business owners. They couldn't get a line of credit because they're self-employed, and verifying the income, especially the way we try to save money on our taxes, really kicks our butt when we go to the bank.
Yep.
You don't need a bank if you've got Money Max, as far as you don't have to worry about getting a line of credit. It's going to show you what to do with just your checking and your savings account. But the people, that I have that are self-employed, it went from debt elimination to, oh my gosh, this organizes everything for me to do in a month. So it line by line shows you what you need to do in the month with your finances. So there's no more guesswork. There's no more
Correct.
spreadsheets on your end. I've
Correct.
heard that from so many people. They're like, I could finally put down the spreadsheets and try to go through all of this stuff, to where now I just, the Money Max throws me the numbers, I do what it tells me to do, and then I'm done. And that makes people
Mhm.
so happy to have the chaos eliminated, and now they
Agreed.
know the order.
Can I show them just real quick, give them a tour of what the Money Max looks like?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good. Let me just do this. All right, move this out of the way. And when a person logs in, now this is John and Rebecca Jones, and when you log in, you're going to notice across the top, remember I referenced why do people fail at budgets and diets? Because the promise isn't clear. Right here at the top, years to pay off. All right. How much is it? 11.8. All right. 11.8 years. They're going to be completely debt free. How much debt do they have? $232,000. So they have nearly $250,000 of debt. They're going to be done in 11.8 years. And oh, yeah, by the way, we show them how much money you're going to be saving along the way. This is scheduled interest. Hey, you cannot invest in the MoneyMax account and go ahead and pay that extra $150,000. That's great. Even if you are half as good as the MoneyMax account, and you say, "Well, Bill, I'll bet I can save $75,000." Okay, great, go for it. But the point is, the MoneyMax is showing you exactly where you could end up. But remember, life happens. And when things change, the beauty of the Money Max account is it's completely editable. You can modify and change to shift with you as life takes its course. And that's the beauty of it. So you've got the three dashboards across the top. Right here in the middle, you have the action plan, the budget tab, the accounts tab, and the reports. Now, for today, we're not going to look at reports. That's for cash flow reporting, year end, that kind of stuff. Awesome, but not important for today. Let's take a look at the accounts tab, the budget tab, because this information plus this information ends up on the action plan. So the accounts, it's all about assets and liabilities, banking, checking, savings. Notice no account numbers, assets above, down below, liabilities. Who do you owe? How much do you owe? Statement date, payment date. That's all you need. That's it. It's very simple. Very simple. All of that is compiled on the accounts, on the budget. It's all about income and expenses. There's the income, who gets paid what, when, and then down below, expenses. Now understand, this expense, it can be run like a budget. If you want to detail 35 different items every month, month in and month out, you can certainly do that. However, sometimes less is more. And what you can see here, like this everything else budget right here, this item called the everything else budget, it's kind of a big chunk of their spending. Yeah, it's because they spend a lot of their money with a credit card. And all the system really at the heart of it wants to know is how much money came in, how much money came out. Look at this. Right here on the left, it defines it for you. $5,400 of income in, 51 out, what's left over, 326. So when people say, well, is the Money Max really any good? Who here, raise your hand if you could take $326 per month and pay off nearly $250,000 with a brand new 30-year debt obligation called a mortgage, brand new car loan, bank loan, and credit card debt. Really? 11.8 years? No, yeah. Save $150,000. That's what the Money Max is doing. So the accounts tab, budget tab right here on the action plan, like you said, day by day. The system laid it out perfectly. First column is dates. Whose dates? Your dates. When are things due? System just wants to know where's money coming from, where's it going, and how much. And that's as simple as it is. And the beauty of our system, consider this, when you use a GPS, it assumes you're driving the car looking out the windshield. That's pretty safe assumption, right? You wouldn't drive your car looking in the rearview mirror. Why would you want to manage your money that way? Because every other system can't do what I'm going to show you. Here's month one. And yes, this is our demonstration model. It always starts 2 months in arrears. So for John and Rebecca, it's January. But there's month one. Scroll down. There's month two. Scroll down. There's month three. It gives you a rolling 90-day look at what's coming. Nobody else does that.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Oh my
Exactly. So in a nutshell, there's much more that could be shared here, but we kind of save some of that for the one-on-ones because we have a little bit more time. But I wanted people just to see just how simple it is. I mean, the complexity is behind what you see. That's where the 4.5 million lines of code is. And the genius of any technology is it simple to use? And that's why GPS is so simple. Why? Because you just put in the address and it does all the thinking for you. Now the Money Max is going to take care of your what? Your banking thinking, right? That's the goal. That's the whole point of what the Money Max is.
Okay, so we have people writing, like I said, we have some that are going for their first training today. We have some that's
Hmm.
already been using it. They're doing awesome in it. I've received two people that have already contacted me wanting to do their own personal analysis. And then, the Corey is asking, we just went over how the MoneyMax the cost is there, and so I don't know if he missed that or what, but we were just talking about how the way it eliminates the debt. I mean, I'm sorry, the interest and the debt, but it's an interest eliminator.
Hmm.
So when I talk about, again, Corey, when I talk about how you're paying possibly $500 to $2,000 a month in interest. I deal with 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 in interest
Easy.
every month. So I have
Yep.
some really big case clients. But people are throwing away their money in the interest, whereas they could just do the trade. So now they've traded the interest cost for the money max in within the first 3 months. Usually in my clients, the money max has been paid for. So
Hmm.
when I think about, the cost of money max, whether it be 3,000 in your situation or whether it be 8,000 if you have, four homes, the point is that you're eliminating interest from today till the rest through the rest of your life. So there is no comparison.
Hmm.
I can't do a comparison of how it costs compared to your debt. There's just no way. And I mean,
Right.
um, I'm trying to, I run amortization schedules and I show, what it's going to look like with the interest you're going to save based on that schedule. And people are like, oh my gosh, 3 months of interest is what
Hmm.
this is going to cost to buy into the Money Max, and that's it. It's a one-time buy-in. That's for the rest of my life. It's a guaranteed product. So it's like if you're serious about debt elimination, there is no faster way to go. Um, I
Right.
also I also want to throw in um, Rick is with us, and for you guys that are on my team, you've probably gone through Rick. He's my team lead. He's the one that I've been working with since day one. And Rick, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Good to be
Uh,
here.
Good. I'm glad because you have brought so much clarity to what the Money Max means, in general, and you run a tight-knit team over there. And the point is that I don't have a client that is working with the team that I'm getting gripes from. They're not complaining because you have been so good about making sure that they get their questions answered. I think that's what's so beautiful about the fantastic team is that I can call you up and say, hey, so and so's got problems, this is going on, what can we do about it? And you'll take them over, and you'll if you assign them to a team member, or usually you do them yourself. I just appreciate the time that you're putting into the clients that are actually coming through fantastic. I think you do a great job. I appreciate that.
Thanks,
I
Chris.
Thank you.
kind of wanted to introduce you to let people see a face because I know that a lot of people work with you,
Yeah,
and um, guys, we're also when I think about the Money Max and how it's helping the people that I'm working with to eliminate debt so quickly. Like I said, the thing is that I can run numbers all day long with a line of credit, but we're still going to be paying interest. We have to because the line of credit, as long as it has a debt on it, it's getting charged interest. Yes, we're going
Hmm.
to cut a very significant time off of the debt that we're paying right now with a line. But if you're serious about, having something that shows you where to put your money,
Right.
I get that question every day. Okay, if I get this bonus I'm supposed to get, in April, and it's $1,500, where do I put it? So we talk about what it'll look like putting it in a line of credit, how much debt it's going to save you, how much time or how much interest, all this. We can go through those scenarios, but MoneyMax actually lays it out clear as a bell. You're going to do this with your extra money, and it's going to save you this. And I don't even know of anything out there that's that easy, that simple, and clear cut. I just think that it's really making a difference. Like I said, it's bringing order to the chaos of debt, and
Absolutely.
that's why I'm very excited about it. So, how are you today, Rick?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Hey, you know what? Because listen, Bill, click that add new action button for me over there for a second so everybody can see this. Chris, because what you were just saying, this is the one thing that we all wish we had. Click a deposit from Uncle Sam. Uncle
Yeah.
Sam finally decided to give you that tax return. He's stingy. Don't be expecting millions here. And then send it to the checking account just real quick, and then change your date because you're in demo mode. So move that date back to January for me. Show me like January 2nd. Okay, and then whatever tax return they got, go ahead and just throw some number in there for me. And Canada's income, that's good enough. The Canada's income, and then click save. So how fast does it tell us what to do with the money? Instantly. Okay. Instantly is what it tells us to do. And so all of a sudden you saw exactly what it was going to do. It'll save us more interest. It saved us a little more time. It said instead of sending $1,241 to the MasterCard, it said now you can send $2,741 is what it's telling you. So it instantly updates to do exactly what you really want it to do. That's what it is. Because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody, here's all we ever tell you. Pay your bills like normal. Just pay your bills like normal, however you pay them. And then imagine if you could have someone, though, come alongside of you. They would say, hey, here's what you do with the rest of the money. That's all we do. We don't do anything different. Here's what you do with the money, just like that right there. And you know what? I mean, Bill could actually click on that line and he could even show you how much interest it would knock out. He'd be able to tell you, like, click on that. Look, that's going to get rid of, show them right there, Bill, $4,200 of interest right there. Money that you don't have to pay anymore. You earned it, but you got to keep it in your own pocket, all by learning just one thing. Man, what would I do with that money on that day? And so, Christy, you know what I love? Hey, I love working with the clients. Okay, I want people to find freedom. It hasn't always been easy for me. Okay, I tell people talk about growing up poor. I tell them, I grew up poor because we couldn't even afford the last two letters. We were so broke. I mean, we had no money whatsoever. And we lived a life of poverty. And I still had that kind of mindset growing up with. I really didn't know what to do with money. I remember losing a home. I remember losing a car. And every time I'm talking with one of the clients that comes in here, that's what's going through me still today. That I don't want them to experience the things that I had to experience. I don't want them to have the hardship that I had to go through. I was scared to death that I'd give my credit card to somebody and they'd keep it. They wouldn't even give it back to me. I was petrified. And it kept me from having the life that I would truly want to live. And so finding something like the MoneyMax account that took all of the guesswork out of money, then what does it replace it with? If there's no guesswork, it means then that there's financial peace is what you have. You can live in peace, and everybody can. It's new, so they're going to have to learn it. But you got coaches like Bill, like myself, and plus a giant team of other people that take the time with the clients to go ahead and educate them and teach them. There's a phone number right there. If you reach out for Bill and you can't get in touch with him, you can call that number. But look at this right here. Click that button. Every video that you can think of, all the questions that you have, they're all answered right inside those videos right there. We make it as easy and accessible as we can. Bill, click on the little headphone down there in the bottom. If they wanted to chat us, look at that. You can live chat us. Hey, we'll chat with you. That's okay. So if you got a question right now that's like a financial emergency, we can answer it right now so that we can do everything we can to make you comfortable financially. And so I love what I do because I know, Christy, one thing I know about you, Bill, the same thing about you, and the same thing about me. I know I'm helping folks make a difference every day.
I know you are. I know I get the feedback. I know. I mean,
Yeah.
and I get, like I said, again, everybody that is real with themselves and they're being serious about their debt elimination, then, the fees of MoneyMax are not even, to me, like I said, at first I was like, wow. So you're talking, let's say it's $4,000, but it's saving you, like you just showed, 152,000 in interest.
Hmm.
Because we're so brainwashed by the banks, we would literally rather set and make the interest payments every month because they're in little bitty payments, and the bank has told us, oh no, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just do what the bank tells you to do, make the payment. And so when we think about, yeah, but if I use this system and it's going to cut, 10 years off of that payment, or maybe it's going to cut, I see 20 years sometimes off of the payments. And then it's like we're so brainwashed by the banks that it's like we can't stop I want to make payments. I want to make payments. It's like, let's don't do anything new or different, because if we don't mind the banks, we're doing something wrong, right? I mean, I'm seeing that every day, and I used to do that. I used to feel that. So when you have people that come to you and that you're going to be able to help them, I mean, that's what we live for, is seeing how we can help the next person to find some peace. And I feel like that you and Bill and Suzanne and all these people are actually, you know, fulfilling their what they were put down here on this earth to do, which is to help people find peace. And I absolutely love that. I don't care who likes Money Max. I am absolutely a believer in it, just like I'm an absolute believer in the infinite banking process. I'm an absolute believer in using lines of credit. If you are small minded and you can't take your mind off of, that makes me nervous. I'm just going to keep making payments. So then keep making them. Me, Bill, Rick, we're not going to be mad at you, are we, guys? We're not going to be mad at people that they want to sit spinning their wheels and interest. But if we don't show them that this option is out there, it's almost a sin to me, because it's like, if you don't know that there are things out there that will stop you from paying out hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest, then that's not fair. Everybody deserves to know. That's why we're having this today, is to give everybody an idea about, what options are out there for you to use if you want to get out of debt. If you've got a middle school mindset and you're doing what you're told, then keep doing what you're told. I don't care. Do you care, Bill? Do you care, Rick?
Well,
I
It's
don't
on
care.
them.
It
It,
is. It's your decision, but
yeah.
this is a beautiful option.
If I may add just a couple of quick things too, is that, remember, folks, this is technology. And in the back of your mind, you say, yeah, so is Microsoft. And every 2 years, I have to upgrade the darn program. I know you get to pay for that privilege. When I first saw mine back and bought mine back in '07, it was version 2. This is version 5.7. Guess how much I've paid along the way? Oh, that's right, 0.
Right.
Upgrades are free. You own it for life. Upgrades are free. And if you have a question, right here, there's that phone number. You just call in and they're going to be able to answer you. Now, Rick and I are busy throughout the day. Sometimes we don't even have time to pay attention, right? But you call in, they're there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, Mountain Standard Time, now Mountain Daylight. They're going to answer the phone. They answer the phone and they're going to get your question answered. They're that good. And we have a whole bank of them there. So you're not going to be on hold for 3 days. That's not it. They're going to take care of you. So you own it for life. Upgrades are free. And yes, technical support, that coaching support, it's there. And just a quick story. I had a question about a credit card 15 years after I purchased it, 2022. And I said, I'll just send an email. I'll hear back in 3 weeks. I heard back later that day with an answer in the email, and I got a call from Leslie in customer service saying, Mr. Blanchard, did you get the email? Yes. Did the answer make sense? Sure did. Anything else? Nope. Good. 15 years after I had invested the original amount, I hadn't spent a dime. And yet that's how they treated me. Who else does that other than Miss Christy? We're going to see in 15 years.
Well, I tell you what, I just, I don't have any negative to say about the MoneyMax for people who, again, are serious about that you want to end the struggle and you want to end it for life. And like you said, there's no charge for the upgrades on the system. I don't even know, like we started at the beginning of the live here when we were talking about, I don't even know why it's so cheap. Did I just say that out loud? I just don't know why. Because there's white labels of the MoneyMax that may be charging 3 times what, what it actually costs through the originators. So I don't know. I just, I think it's only fair that people understand what's going on here when it comes to debt elimination. When you learn how to use the amortization schedule, it makes sense why MoneyMax works. It makes sense why you're out of debt so much faster using anything other than the conventional loan. Oh my goodness. So, I just, again, I wanted to bring you guys on today. First, to thank you for what you do because I see the work that you do and you guys hustle. I mean, this isn't something that, it's just like, oh, we got to make a sale. I'm not a salesman. I don't like salesmen. I like solutions. And so I know that MoneyMax is a solution. And it's available for anybody that's interested in using it. Like I said, they give free everything. This is free watching this. The webinars that we do on Tuesday nights, they're free. There's also questions you can ask through that MoneyMax webinar. And you get the free personal analysis. So when people tell me, oh, that's a bunch of bull, that's so expensive. Well, don't be talking about something that you've not gotten a free run of your numbers with. Don't be knocking something down that you are too lazy to go get your free personal analysis to see what it would do for you. If you don't take the initiative to get yourself in a solution that's going to get you out of debt, do not have the nerve to send me an email knocking it. Don't have the nerve to put in the chat right now, oh, that's so expensive. Who could use that? Because I disagree with you completely, and I will tell you so. This is not a money-making scheme. This is an option for you. This is a beautiful lifetime option for you. I couldn't be any more excited about it. Corey says, thank you so much for a good explanation. Like I said, guys, I put my link in the chat. If you want to reach out to me, I will send you over to Rick and he will get you scheduled for your own free personal analysis. It's free. And so you can't call something a scam if you haven't tried it out for yourself. Rick, do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think, the thing is that, one time, who doesn't like ice cream? Man, I love ice cream. But guess what? I tried a pint of walnut ice cream and I found some ice cream I don't like. And so, but you know what? I tried it. Yeah. That's the thing is I tried it. And to not know, I mean, if this thing ended up costing you a mortgage payment and you said no to that, okay, then again, this is only for the people that are really serious. And I don't want anybody to think poorly, but it's only for people that are actually looking for the guaranteed route. Because that's what this is. That's going to cost you something, is what it's going to. I mean, think about it. Bill's been a financial advisor since, the early 2000s. So Bill's time is worth something. And the fact that he would log in with you week after week or month after month to go ahead and make sure that you are able to go ahead and get out of debt, but he only got paid one time.
Yeah.
And he does that with you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. You're, and crazy enough, even in that little thing we just showed with the tax return, you would have saved more in interest on that one transaction than what the program would have cost. So your very first transaction, you would have saved. Yeah. A lot of clients they get the return on investment in the first month, the second month. I mean, so, but it's really to find out for yourself, because here's the thing. We're not going to ask you for a credit card. That's not what any of us do. No one does. So when you come to that appointment, no one's saying, give me a credit card. What we're going to say is that, hey, here's the possibilities for you. Here's the possibility for your future. If we were all sitting around the campfire right now and we started to talk about, hey, what do you want your dream life to look like someday? And you're willing to be honest with the group. You'd be saying things like, well, I'd like to be able to travel, or I'd like to be able to help my kids. I'd like to be able to help my church more is what I'd like to be able to do. But it's the money that the bank is taking away from you that is the thing that is getting in the way of you achieving that goal for yourself.
Right.
It's not the price of the program. That's not what it is. It's what the bank is doing to you. And plus we don't say no to anybody. I mean, you can get a payment if you wanted to, and even the payment is cheaper than how much money you're saving.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we make it good for everybody. We really do.
I don't have any, some things bother me, like the $8,000 program that I paid for in September of last year that promised me they were going to be able to show me how to do this, this, and this. And then when I got into it, it was angering how much money I paid to literally sit and watch modules and get all this stuff set up by myself, and never had a one-on-one coaching to where it showed me, okay, you need to do this and you need to set this in here, and this needs to come over. Nothing. And so I literally threw $8,000 away because I thought, okay, this is going to make this so simple for me, because that's what they kept telling me. And as they're doing their stupid sales call, while I was on the phone with them, they're like, "Oh no, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and you're going to, 100%, you're going to be able to do, And I literally could smack myself that I bought into something that literally $8,000. I could have given that away to somebody and felt better about it than throwing it away to that. And so anytime I bring something to the channel, it's tried and true. I don't play games. I don't think it's cute to throw away money. I don't think it's funny, the scamming that people's doing out here. So I have worked with MoneyMax now. We're about to go on 3 years. And I'm serious about the MoneyMax. I know that the MoneyMax works. I've seen case after case of how it took things that I could not do with a line of credit and completely opened up a bright light at the end of the tunnel for these people that are suffering in their debt, and they're just spinning their wheels in interest, I call it. And you can't get traction because it's like you're on oil and you're just spinning, because you're set up to fail. So when we talk about things on this channel, like the MoneyMax, like the infinite banking, like the first lien lenders, whoever it is I'm bringing to you, I've already tried them. I know that if you are serious about debt elimination and you're going to get in there and you're going to do it, you're going to do the process, then you're going to win. It's just math. You're going to win. So I just want to thank both of you guys for coming on here today and for spending a little bit of time with us. I have people that are sending requests through my email right now that they're wanting to get in touch with you guys and get their own free personal analysis. And guys, you're welcome to do that. And I don't know why, Rick and Bill, I don't know the clients that you take, and you'll work with these people, not just 1 hour. I've seen you work with people 3, 4, 5 hours before they ever actually
Mhm.
decide that this is what they're going to use. You know,
Mhm.
it's a lot of your time, and you do that because you care. I can tell you care. I get that feedback from people, and even on this chat while we've been talking, somebody said Rick, is amazing and really cares about his clients. Bill, I know you do too. I've gotten feedback. So the thing is I just appreciate what you guys do. And whether anybody watching, well, which I've already got the contact form, so I know people are interested. But if you're watching and you're like, oh, that's just, I don't want that, then please turn off the channel right now.
They
Please.
want,
This
yeah,
is about helping you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Don't let the bank win.
Yeah.
Don't let the bank win just because you got yourself in a situation. Look, life happens to everybody. Just because you're in a situation right now that might seem a little tight, okay, it doesn't mean it has to be tight forever. It doesn't mean that. But in the tighter the cash flow, the more you need the system because you can't afford a financial mistake. It's
Yeah.
that if I've only got $100 left over, somebody better give me the exact instructions.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the system does.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
yeah.
think it's great.
Thank
And I
you.
appreciate you guys again, like I said, coming on here and having the conversation. I just think that it's going to be a game changer and is a game changer for so many people. I'll give one more illustration. I guess it's an illustration. It's an actual live example of one of my clients. He was in over his head, and he lives in Colorado. But he went to you, Rick, and you went he was at a 23-year payoff, and you brought him down to a 5-year payoff.
Yeah.
And he was so excited that I taught him, how to use the line of credit too. So he's using everything together. He's using the line with the MoneyMax, using the line to actually gain cash flow to put into the MoneyMax. And do you know, he contacted me the other day and he said he was down to 3.7 years. And
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I'm just so excited for the people. They're getting the answers. The peace that I know that they're feeling, I think that's awesome. I thank you guys for what you do. I thank you for coming on here today and going over this with us a little bit. Guys, we're going to let you all go. Like I said, send in the contact form. I'll get it over to Rick and he'll get you scheduled. And you know what? Get excited, because you don't have to be down in the dumps about what's going on with your finances. If you're serious about a solution, we're going to do everything in our power to find you one. So hang in there,
And
have peace. And now, when you get your peace, you're going to be able to enjoy your family. You're going to be able to go on the vacations. You're going to be able to live the life you want to live because you've got answers. And that's
Right.
all we're all looking for. Okay.
100%. Thank you, Miss
Um,
Christy.